Hey guys, welcome to CBD. My name is Frankie. On this episode, we have a guest that you all know, the Windy City Productions.
What's
What's
up,
up, man?
guys?
Hey,
Not much. Glad to be on. Thanks for having me on.
no worries. All right, let's just get right into it. Um,
Yeah.
sorry, so, do you have any players in mind besides Justin Fields for training camp?
Yeah, I got a few players that I'm watching. I'd say like the new guys, obviously, like there's a lot of new guys we added this year in free agency. We spent good amount of money. So like Tremaine Edmonds, obviously I'm super pumped to see him play beast at linebacker. The Bears are known for having good linebackers, so it's cool to see another, star being added to the linebacking core. So I'll be looking for him. DJ Moore as well, obviously like that's the number one player I feel like most Bears fans are gonna be excited about in this offense, obviously, because we finally got a true star for Justin Fields on the offense. It's going to be interesting to see like how he, helps Justin Fields in this offense, right? Because we know that Justin Fields has to break out as a passer this year. So definitely DJ Moore. And then I'll go with one more, maybe like one of the rookies, like Darnell Wright. Like I was a big Darnell Wright fan. So,
Oh,
seeing Darnell Wright is going to be super cool as well. He's a tough guy,
yeah.
in training camp, you can't really see the O line and the D line really get at it too much, but you're going to see a little bit of his play and his mentality. So I'd say those three guys I'm most looking forward to seeing.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to Tyler Scott because with the Claypool news that came out today, honestly, I can
Yeah,
see him stepping up in that bigger role, and
yeah, for
then
sure. Yeah,
also Darnell Wright as well. So, those two big guys are crucial, I think, in my opinion, for this year. Um, Edge rusher, like honestly, what's going on with that?
yeah. I don't know, man. I'm waiting for something to happen with that. I thought something would happen today because you saw the some Bill Zimmerman on Twitter. He posted like
Yeah,
a GIF, and he has like inside information. Like he's posted stuff in the past where like he's like predicted stuff that's happened before. So I thought it was definitely going to happen today. It might still happen today because there's still time left in the day, and we all
yeah,
know that polls love to do with signings at night usually, right?
yeah,
Like I feel like all the signings he's made so far has been like after 7 or 8 p.m. So
yeah.
still maybe while we're recording this, he could be signing somebody, but
That would be
yeah,
awesome.
it's
um,
interesting because there's a lot of guys out there, obviously, like Yannick Ngakoue, like Justin Houston, still like the
yeah,
edge market is still like there, for the taking. So
yeah.
I think we will sign somebody pretty soon.
Would you prefer a trade or a signing?
Well, definitely trade because I think that would be a better like long term option.
Yeah.
So maybe a guy like Daniil Hunter would be amazing for the
Oh
Minnesota
yeah.
Vikings. Like he's a stud. He's only 28, I want to say, so still got a lot of good years left. And the Vikings probably will not want to trade him in division though. I feel like, but they've already done deals with like the Packers and the Lions before, so maybe that's not a big factor for Kwesi.
Yeah.
But yeah, besides, I'm trying to think like who else would be available. Like maybe Chase Young, obviously. Like we
That
all
would.
wanted Chase Young. That was like all over Bears Twitter today. A lot of people just posting Chase Young's photo with Justin Fields. I mean, he's 24 years old, fits the timeline of this team. Super young, super athletic. So I would like a trade because then you could actually keep that player on the team for much longer than just this year.
Yeah, for sure. That it kind of reminds me of back in 2018 when we traded
Yeah,
for Khalil Mack when I think it was Mitch's second year, and
yeah,
how that worked out. Only that one year he was good, but
yeah. That was like five days before the season started. I think we
yeah.
traded for
So I
Khalil
mean,
Mack.
anything happened. So
That's for sure.
um, yeah, I think Chase Young honestly though is like it's a make or break though because like he is coming off an injury, an ACL tear, right? If I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
yeah. I think so.
So
Yeah.
I wouldn't give up too much for him, in my opinion, just because I don't want to, give a first
Yeah.
round pick and then he's like the same player,
Yeah, for sure.
injured
I
again.
mean, I'd probably take like a third round pick, second round pick,
Yeah,
maybe,
yeah,
which
for
I
sure.
think I'd be okay with like trading a second round pick.
Yeah, for sure. What about what's your record prediction for the Bears this year?
Yeah, so I went 10-6 I went, or 10-7,
Okay, yeah,
17 games obviously. Yeah, I went 10-7. I think it is like obviously like pretty optimistic. A lot of fans maybe would disagree with that, but I feel like honestly any win win record from like 7 to like 10 wins would be okay for this year, because like we're
Yeah.
not obviously trying to compete for a Super Bowl this year. It'd be nice if we could, but like we don't
Oh yeah.
have to do it here. Still early in the rebuild, so like I think 10 is definitely possible though, because if you look at the schedule, like it's such an easy schedule on paper. Like there's not too many star quarterbacks we're facing. NFC is super weak.
Yeah.
We added someone on this team, Justin Fields, if he has a breakout year. We could be winning some games, because even last year, like we lost the majority of games by only one possession or less.
Yeah.
So I don't think this team is as far away as people are saying it is.
Oh yeah. And touching on Justin Fields, do you think he'll reach that 4,000 yard passer like he mentioned in the interview?
Man, I don't. I hope so. Like, I think it's definitely possible. The thing
Yeah.
is, like, obviously, like last year he only had like 2,300 passing yards, so like almost like doubling that in one year would be a lot. But I don't want to say it's impossible, because we saw at Ohio State, like when he actually had weapons, he was passing the ball,
Yeah.
all day long. Like he barely ran at Ohio State. So I think it's definitely possible. He only needs like 230 passing yards per game, I believe, to get that
Yeah.
to happen if he plays every single game. So I mean, my prediction I would say is like 3,500 ish yards, because I still think he's going to run with the football,
Oh
just not
yeah.
as much as he did last year, obviously. But if that's the case, like he's probably not going to have 4K, but I don't want to say it's impossible either.
Yeah. I like how confident he's starting to get in the media, especially. It just, but it also
Yeah,
makes me nervous because, like, if he doesn't do that, it's like, well, we're sitting here
right.
and we just made fun of ourselves, basically. But
Yeah, I mean they take his
um,
quotes out of context too a lot. I feel like
yeah,
like
yeah,
the interview he did with I think it was CBS Sports, he just said he was like asked like a specific question like, will you pass for 4K yards? Like obviously no
mhm,
quarterback is going to say no to that. So
right,
yeah.
yeah. Your thoughts on the running back position and why aren't guys getting paid more often and why are they being disrespected? Do you think?
Yeah, it's a good question. I feel like, I mean, it's because the market is like even like real life, like comparing this to real life. Like if you have labor that can be like replaced like fairly easily, like usually the wages are not going to be that high, and that's kind of the case here, right? With NFL running backs, like most NFL running backs are not, so elite that they're well. There's obviously elite running backs, but the difference between the elite ones and the average ones is not that much. Like you see teams get ones in the draft every single year, or just sign random free agent running back, and they could go off for 1,000 plus yards, because running back is a position that can't win they can't win the game by themselves. Like a lot of it's scheme dependent, a lot of it's offensive line dependent too. So if you have a good running game, or if you have a good offensive line, if you have a good scheme, then you probably are going to be able to turn any running back into a stud. So I think that's the main reason why it kind of does suck, because I want to see guys like Saquon and Josh Jacobs get their money, but at the same time the Giants could probably just draft a running back or like sign one, and he'd probably still go off for like 900, 1,000 yards. So it's kind of
Yeah,
hard to
kind of
say.
like how the Bears did with Montgomery. Like we did draft Herbert a few years ago, and then we let go of Montgomery, and now we just drafted Rajon Johnson, right? Is that who it is?
Yeah.
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 So honestly, like running backs is just a carousel, and it's sad. But like you look at Frank Gore a few years ago, he was in the league for what 15 years, and was with the
Yeah, I
Niners.
think so. Yeah.
So like I don't get it. But who do you think is going to be RB1 this year?
I think it's going to be Roshan Johnson, because he can actually pass protect and catch the ball too. Maybe not like an elite pass catcher, but pass protection wise, he was super good in college. We'll see if that translates to the NFL. But none of our other backs can really pass protect like he can. Like Herbert obviously is too small. He's not good at pass
Right.
pro. Foreman, I'm not totally sure how good he is, but I don't think he's as good as Roshan is. And Roshan does have I feel like the highest ceiling out of any running back we have right now. Really good in college. Only reason why I didn't get drafted higher is because he was playing behind Bijan Robinson, the
Right.
best running back in the last like 5 or 6 years. So I do think it's going to be Roshan, but I do think it's going to be a shared backfield too, where it's going to be, 1 week maybe Herbert gets a bunch of carries, 1 week it's going to be Foreman
Yeah.
going off. So it's going to depend on like week to week who has a hot hand, basically.
Awesome. Yeah. Anyone on the coaching staff on the hot seat?
Um, yeah, Alan Williams, I would say definitely,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, worst defense in the NFL last year. Obviously, not all of that was his fault, because we had such a bad team, on the field. But if the defense doesn't get better, like he's the one calling the plays, so he has the most direct impact on how the defense does.
Yeah.
Eberflus is not really doing anything with play calling. So I think if we again finish like bottom, I want to say like bottom 5 or like bottom 6. Like I'm not expecting our defense to be amazing this year either because it is a young defense. We don't have a good defensive line really, so it's going to be hard for it to be really good. But if it's like ranked like 28th, 29th again, then you kind of might want to make a change there, or at least hand over play calling duties to Matt Eberflus.
Yeah. So, on the same topic, do you think Luke Getsy is going to get a promotion next year if Justin Fields does make that leap or the offense does make that leap?
Definitely, yeah. I think he's gone. If it feels has 4,000 passing yards, he's definitely gone because that would be
Yeah.
one of the biggest jumps of any quarterback in history to go from 2,300 to 4K. So I think he's definitely gone. It kind of sucks though because obviously Fields is gonna have to work with a new play caller. We're gonna have to install that offense, but it's probably gonna be the same offense in the future.
Yeah.
Like we do have, I think his name is Andrew Jonico, our
Oh yeah.
quarterbacks coach, and
Yeah.
yeah, he runs the same exact offense or he's worked in the same offense as Getsy has, so it's not going to be hopefully too big of a difference when he eventually leaves.
Yeah. That's for sure. Any sleeper teams this year or overrated teams in your opinion?
Sleeper teams, definitely the Bears, obviously, but I'm I'm going to say that because I'm a Bears fan.
Yeah.
But I'm trying like maybe like the Browns because
Mm,
they actually have a pretty good roster now. If you look like
yeah.
top to bottom, they're not getting talked about that much, obviously, because they haven't had that much success recently. But Browns actually have a pretty stacked roster, top to bottom. Um, Overrated though, I would say like maybe Lions to some extent, and I'm
Mhm.
not just saying that because I'm a Bears fan, but
No,
the
yeah.
way that people are talking about them is like a Super Bowl contender, which I don't think they actually are. With the quarterback like Jared Goff, especially like Jared Goff has
Yeah.
already in the Super Bowl and he did, terribly in it. So, um, yeah, I don't know. Lions definitely, other overrated teams maybe. Um, I'm trying to think who else is like getting rated highly. Maybe the Cowboys to some extent too. Like the
Yeah.
Cowboys lost good amount of people in the offseason. Um, and they're also being viewed as Super Bowl contenders when they, maybe could not be that good this year compared to last year.
Yeah, I personally think the Lions their division to lose because Minnesota got worse. Obviously, Green Bay lost their best player, and then the Bears got better. So honestly, if the Lions don't win it, do you see us winning the division?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously it could be the Vikings too because they were
Yeah,
like, good last year, but all their games were like one possession games. Like they weren't, blowout wins or anything. So I think they're coming back down to earth this year. So I definitely think the Bears do have a chance to win it, especially with having a young team, young quarterback who, hopefully is going to break out this year. So definitely possible.
Um, sorry, I'm going through my mind mailbag now. Let's see.
Yeah, go for it.
If Justin Fields does not perform well, do you see the Bears moving on from him?
Uh yes, probably. As much as I
Yeah,
hate to say that because this is his make or break year now, right? Like he's already had two, years before with this team and in the NFL like you're not going to get that long of a leash usually, especially if you're not the GM's guy. Like Ryan Poles did not draft Justin Fields. He's giving him 2 years to prove himself. Last year
yeah,
was kind of just like yeah, I mean, it didn't really count because the team around him was so bad, but this year will actually count towards like his evaluation because now we actually do have good receivers around him. We have a good offensive line. So like now the excuses for Justin Fields really are not there anymore. I feel like at least on paper they're not there. So if he has another season like last year where like he's, only having like 2,300 passing yards, then I definitely think we're going to move off of him
yeah,
because we do have 2 first-round picks and our record at that point too would probably be like 3 or 4 wins. So
yeah.
we could have the number one pick again, but I don't think this is going to happen. Obviously, I think Fields is going to break out, and he's
Oh,
going to be the Bears quarterback for long amount of time.
Um, so Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool have contracts coming up. Who do you think the Bears are going to sign? Obviously, the thing with Claypool that they come out today, but I think he will play this year. Um, who do you think they're going to give a contract to between those two guys?
I think it's gonna be Mooney, man, because
Yeah,
Mooney already has the chemistry going with Fields. So like, so far Claypool only has like maybe like 3 catches from Justin Fields like total. Like they didn't
mm,
really connect with each other last year,
yeah,
and obviously, like this year, it's going to be a totally different story. Hopefully, he knows the playbook now. Hopefully, he's on the field for longer, and hopefully, they do get a good, chemistry going. But Mooney has already proven to be like good in this offense before. Like he was our, best receiver last year. He already has that chemistry going with Fields, and as we know, like chemistry between a receiver and a quarterback can be, really important. So, I do think Bears fans are underrating Mooney a lot this year because we did draft, Tyler Scott, who has similar build, similar archetype, and they're similar, types of players. But, Scott is only a rookie. We haven't seen him play yet. And it's really hard to project like a 5th round or 4th round player, at least at this point, being better than a guy that's already had 1K yards before in Darnell Mooney. So I think Mooney is probably getting an extension.
Yeah, I just don't see Chase Claypool really. Like he needs to earn that contract. Like obviously they
Yeah,
can sign
definitely.
both of them, but I think Mooney's the guy that's going to get it just because Claypool hasn't done anything.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, let's see. All right, if Justin Fields played exactly how he did last year, he would throw for over 3,000 yards in the 2023 season. Do you agree? Obviously, we already hit on this, but um,
Wait, how many yards? 3,000?
3,000 yards in 2023, he would throw over. Do you agree?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, probably, yeah, just from having more passing attempts and like having better receivers. I feel like yeah, that's definitely like the floor for
Yeah,
this year if he doesn't improve whatsoever. But if he does improve a lot and if we pass the ball a lot more, it could easily be like 3,500,
yeah,
maybe even 4K like you mentioned.
yeah. Like especially with the addition with DJ Moore, like that just skyrockets for Justin Fields. Like I know like teams will double him, but they've doubled him even in Carolina, and look what he's been doing with poor quarterback play. So
Yeah, and if they double him, like we have Mooney now and Claypool to throw to too, so those guys are
so
gonna eat now.
yeah, but that's all I have for this. But I appreciate you coming on
Of
on
course, dude. Yeah,
my
had a lot of
podcast.
fun. Good. You started this channel like recently, you said?
Yeah, like 2 months ago. I
That's
just
awesome,
start.
man.
Yeah, I'm going to school
Good
for
luck
it now.
growing
So
it.
yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna be posting content like pretty like regularly throughout the season.
yeah. I'm going to training camp on Thursday, so I'm gonna
Oh no, oh
try.
I'll be there too actually. So
Oh,
I'll
sweet,
probably see you there. Definitely
sweet.
say
Yeah.
hi.
I'm gonna try and record, but George McCaskey might hunt me down.
You can record if you like pretend you're taking a picture. Because like
Yeah,
if you put your phone like this, like they
yeah,
can't tell if you're taking a picture or taking video. But if you have it horizontal, then they can kind of tell you're taking video.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah, appreciate you coming on. But definitely
yeah,
would
of
love to
course,
have
dude.
you on again.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, see you.
Bye bye.
All right, guys. That is going to wrap it up for this episode. I had a lot of fun in this episode. I am going to be going to training camp, as I just said, um, on Thursday. So stay tuned to that. Follow me on Twitter. And thank you for watching. And see you guys later.